Well, I think the two things, they run fast and they strike the heck out of you, and I think the linebackers really do a good job of that at all three positions. Got to do a good job when they are trying to put pressure on us, picking them up and putting a body on them because we need to make sure that for the most part we're trying to keep our quarterback clean from hits.
You guys have been playing from behind the last few games, so we haven't seen much hurry up, no huddle from you guys. What's the reason?
Last week we ended up no huddling as we got going and went down there, not just on the last drive or so. So we will go some up tempo in that setting. Part of the deal obviously is how do you make sure that when you have the opportunity to have the ball that you move the chains. We need to get into that second or third set of downs so that then we can go fast, and that's us making sure that we keep ourselves on the field.
Is there a certain time or point margin in your mind where you think Chris about, hey, we need to pick it up?
Oh, yeah, there is. The problem with that is you got to be a little bit careful because that's kind of go back to Oklahoma State. You know, you go start the second half and it's 31-13 or whatever it is, and you're all of a sudden thinking you need to get into a tempo setting, and that was totally the opposite of what we should have done because our defense shut them out in the second half. All you need to do is in your 4 or 5 possessions, score 2 or 3 touchdowns, and we actually win that game. So the tempo aspect gets blown out of proportion when it's still in the third quarter.
How frustrating were some of just the drops and, like
There weren't very many drops. There was one drop that really killed us. 3rd and 4 to 6, we've got to make a play on that ball and move the chains and keep drives going. Other than that, I mean, I'm sure there was more than one drop, but I don't remember a bunch of drops as much as not making a play that keeps us on the field. And I know all of you guys look at a lot of the quote stats and those types of things, but our 3rd and short, our 3rd and medium, pretty darn good. Especially if you put Phillips as a catch rather than unfortunately not a catch. But you have to make those plays no matter which set of downs it happens to be in.
Has Tyrone Howell been a nice surprise for you guys?
I'm not surprised. He's done a nice job. I think he's kind of what we anticipated. The hard part is our offense isn't the easiest offense to learn. The ability to put somebody out there only in this setting or only in that setting isn't really how he works. He's a guy that needs to get 15, 20, 25 plays to really be all in to the flow of the game. And he's done a good job continuing to learn. The bye week was probably the best thing for him because he had an opportunity to go back a little bit to the original base points of, okay, what's the depth of all my routes? Where do I line up? How do I get in and out of the huddle and actually interpret everything that's said? Not everybody in the country uses a huddle. So when you're a guy that's used to just seeing the hand signal and knowing what aspect is mine from that hand signal compared to hearing now 8 words said in a huddle and deciphering what they all are, that's really helped Tyrone and allowed him the last 3 weeks to play much faster and be more of a factor.
Give me your thoughts on what's going on in the 3rd quarter.
Inability to stay on the field early. And when I get back to that or say that, we've not been what I would consider to be 3rd and extra long. We've been 3rd and very manageable. We haven't managed it. And then, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but then the other side has done a nice job of taking a 6, 7, 8 minute drive that then, and everybody knows from an offensive standpoint, the longer you sit over on the sideline or on the bench, the more you feel like, wow, I better do something. I better do something when I get my opportunity. And we've got to do a good job, and we haven't, of the first opportunity we have the ball in the second half, whether it's the very first series or if it's they have it first, then we have it, we go put a drive together because that obviously makes us feel much better as a whole when we do something with the first opportunity. Start the game, I feel like we've done a pretty good job with our opportunities. Not 100% perfect, but a pretty good job with at least getting a little momentum going.
When you're in a skid of sorts, what's the balance between kind of wanting to maybe tweak something or needing to insist that it's going to eventually work?
Well, I think that goes right back to even the up-tempo stuff that you allude to a little bit of. where do you go make that adjustment to say, hey, you know what, if we could get a first down and then go some faster tempo, does that put some momentum into the deal to allow you to say, okay, good, we just caught lightning in a bottle a little bit, let's go with it. That would have been one of the things that I'm sure you saw where we ran outside zone, lined right back up, handed to Joe again in an up-tempo setting. Well, that was really, really good for a couple, 3 times. And then we did it with Deuce, and we went from a 9 or 10 yard gain first down to then a 1 yard loss going the same deal, going tempo, going fast. Now you put yourself in 2nd and 11. You can't second guess yourself. Was it good to do it when we did it and it was successful, and now that was a bad choice when we weren't? And that's part of the deal. What I'm getting at is you got to try to make a good decision of should we tweak, should we change game plan wise, or do we need to do it one more time to make sure that we've now figured it out? And that's the hard part about calling plays.
Skyler ran the ball not quite a bit, but he was back to running the ball a little bit against Iowa State. Just how important is it to have the quarterback run game?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. And the bigger part that it's a big deal at is in the red zone. And Skyler kept it 2 or 3 times where one of those times actually he probably could have pitched it to Deuce and not taken the hit. He's got to make those decisions, and they're game day decisions. The best part is he was not afraid to keep it and go run and try to be physical as a runner, and that puts him back into his mode where his legs are a threat, and that's what we need.
How much greater efficiency do you need at sustaining blocks?
Oh, I think not just often you think O-line in that setting, but it's got to be tight ends and receivers on the edge too of staying on people. And these guys are fast. These guys, I say these guys, everybody in our league really has linebackers and D linemen that can run. We've got to get on them and stay on them, or they'll have an impact because of the way they can run.
Given that other teams have had success running the ball on Texas Tech, does that put anything in your head that, hey, we need to mimic that?
Well, yes, but as much as anything, it puts back to we need to be a physical team up front. We need to do some of the things we were able to do against Stanford and we were able to do against Nevada. And I'm not talking maybe formationally as much as getting on people and having some sustained drives where you have 4, 5, 6 runs out of a 9-play set.
As an offensive coordinator, is it like torture watching the team go on like a 10-minute drive?
Well, I love it when we're doing it, but when it's on the other side, at times you're obviously sitting there trying to formulate where are we going next, and you're trying to talk to your players. And generally speaking, when it's a 3 or 4 minute type of deal, 5-minute deal, you get to make some adjustments, some changes. You get to talk to them, and then it's okay. Grab your helmet and let's get ready to go again. It is tougher sometimes when it's a longer drive, no matter which side you're on.
Does Imadu Bebe have the capacity to run some of the routes that probably Moore was successful at last year?
I use the example back to his long touchdown catch and his ability to stretch down the field. He does have that, and we've got to keep figuring out ways to get him opportunities to make plays. Sammy, the same ability to run down the field very well. Both those guys can stretch the field. We've obviously got to do a good job of, quote, getting him in those positions, but then also protecting to do that.